Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, friends. This month, including Thanksgiving Day holiday, so we have a talk on gratitude. On gratitude, it's a key heart quality. Gratitude is. The talk will be followed 12:05. Be finding the continuation of our study of the Book of Confidences. Next Sunday, November 10, from 11 a.m. to noon, you are kindly invited to be with us on Google Meet for a continuation of our study on the key to theosophy. Declaration of Loyalty. The policy of this lodge is independent devotion to the cause of theosophy without professing attachment to any theosophical organization. It is loyal to the great founders of the theosophical movement, but does not concern itself with dissensions or differences of individual opinion. The work it has on hand and the end it keeps in view are too absorbing and lofty to leave it the time or inclination to take part in side issues. That work and that end is the dissemination of the fundamental principles of philosophy of theosophy and the exemplification in practice of those principles through a true realization of the self, a profound conviction of universal brotherhood. It holds the unassailable basis for union among theosophists, wherever and however situated, the similarity of aim, purpose, and teaching, and therefore has neither constitution, bylaws, nor officers, the sole bond between its associates being that basis. And it aims to disseminate this idea among theosophists in the furtherance of unity. It regards as theosophists all who are engaged in the true service of humanity without distinction of race, creed, sex, condition, or organization. And it welcomes to its association all those who are in accord with its declared purposes and in desire to fit itself, study and otherwise, to be the better able to help and teach others. The true theosophist belongs to no cult or sect, yet belongs to each and all. There are three fundamental propositions that run throughout the secret doctrine and nature that help us to understand what we're studying, because they're all three involved in some way with the specifics of the type of the subject they were specific subject we have. The first fundamental is on deity, the unity of all existence, the rootless root of all that was, that is, or ever shall be. It extends to beyond the range of human comprehension, and it can only be drawed by human expression. It is beingness rather than being. It's thought of as a great breath, the one reality. It is that the dynamic energy that might be linked to that small voice that wells up within every individual soul, that consciousness that should be our guide. Spirit matter, soul, life, embodied, unembodied. What people generally call God or deity is an aspect of life, the omnipresent principle which is invisibly functioning in the atom as in the cosmos, and which abides in the self and the part of every creature. Another aspect of life is law. People speak of the laws of God, the laws of nature. It would be more accurate to speak of God as law. God, life, self are not different from law. They are law. The spirit of the universe all surrounds us and is within all. We eternal pilgrims have the opportunity to become gods, or with the absolute, through sustained effort. We honor the gods as superior beings to emulate, but not as being outside of ourselves. The second fundamental is the law that brings out an analogy between the processes of nature and the cosmos, and in the individual man. Day and night, life and death, sleeping and waking, karma and reincarnation. All these involved in the second fundamental. Man's lower principles disintegrate in time, and nature uses them again with the various imprints from past uses to form new human principles. The same process takes place in disintegration and formation of worlds. As it is, so it is below. There's a perpetual changes of atoms, correlating and changing their combining equivalents, like the perfect flower dying in order to grow into a perfect fruit. Man himself punishes the rewards based on his deeds. The third fundamental is on evolution. The whole order of nature is progressively marching toward a higher life in the cycle of incarnation or necessity. No spiritual Buddhi, a divine soul, can have an independent or conscious existence before the spark from its essence has passed through every elemental form and has acquired individuality, first by natural impulse, from the mineral plant and plant up to the animal, up to the and then up to the human stage. Thereafter, when they get to the human stage, we progress by self-induced and self-devised effort, checked by karma, up to the holiest archangel, a Dhyani Buddhi. Each entity must have won for itself the right to becoming divine through self-experience. The physical evolves gradually from the spiritual, mental, and psychic. Elementals are all future men. No one has ever reached a deathship in one embodiment. Each man has within himself the spark of an adept, and in kind evolve into an adept through self-induced and self-devised methods, aided by masters of wisdom to the extent allowed by karma. Our devotional reading comes from the Bhagavad Gita today. A man enjoyeth not freedom from action, from the non-commencement of that which he hath to do, nor doth he obtain happiness from the total abandonment of action. No one that resteth a moment inactive. Every man is involuntarily urged to act by the qualities which spring from nature. He who remains inert, restraining the senses and organs, yet pondering with his heart upon objects of sense, is called a false class of bewildered soul. But he who hath subdued all his passions, performeth with his active faculties all the duties of life, unconcerned as to the result, as to be esteemed. Do now perform the proper actions. Action is superior to inaction. The journey of the mortal frame cannot be accomplished by inaction. All actions performed other than actions, sacrifices unto God, make the actor bound by action. Abandon then, O son of Kunti, all selfish motives, and in action, perform thy duty for him alone. When in ancient times the Lord of creatures had formed mankind and at the same time appointed his worship, he spoke and said, quote, with this worship, pray for increase, and let it be for you come to the cow of plenty, on which you shall depend for the accomplishment of all your wishes. With this nourish your gods, that the gods may nourish you. Thus mutually nourishing, you shall obtain the highest felicity. The gods, being nourished by worship and sacrifice, will grant you the enjoyment of your wishes. He who enjoyeth what hath been given unto him by them, and offereth not a portion unto them, is even as a thief. For those who eat not, but what is left of the offerings shall be purified of all their transgressions. Those who dress their meat, but for themselves eat the bread of sin, being themselves sin incarnate. Beings are nourished by food. Food is produced by rain. Rain comes from sacrifice, and sacrifice is performed by action. Know that action comes from the Supreme Spirit, who is one. Wherefore, the all-pervading Spirit is at all times present in the sacrifice. And now we have the talk on Thanksgiving.
Good morning, friends. Today's talk will be on gratitude, as we will be celebrating very soon the holiday of Thanksgiving. We would like to get in the mindset of gratitude, and today we will examine what is gratitude, why it is so important, and why it is a deeply theosophical concept. I'd like to start with a fairy tale. The story goes as follows. There was a saint man living in a village, and he devoted his life to service to the others. And every day he will go and give his neighbors what they needed. Some received money, some received warm clothes, some received food. He would always know what the other needs and try to meet that person's need by giving him the gift. And one day the man grew old, and he could not perform his service, and he could not bestow gifts on the others. And he grew sick, and he stayed in his hut, and no gifts came to the neighbors. And one would think the neighbors rushed to help him and see why he could not be there for them anymore. But one by one, they started coming out of their houses, and one said, "And where is the money I used to receive? Now how am I supposed to survive?" And the other one came out and said, "And my shoes have holes, and nobody gave me the new ones this morning." And the servant came out and said, "All I have is like a little bit of bread, and where is my food? This is ridiculous that nothing came this morning." So they start talking to each other. What happened? Why are they not getting the things they used to get? And they said, "Well, the old man has got sick and not delivering." So they went and they beat the old man. And that was the end of the story. Neither they got anything, nor they understood where the gifts were coming from or where the gifts were bestowed on them. Now we'll go to a very theosophical concept, one of the fundamentals, and that's law of karma, and the just universal law that is above all of us and all of us are subject to. So in a summary, the just universal law is a universal law according to which we receive and we're given and we're taken from, and it is a harmonizing balance of all of our contributions, positive or negative. It's basically a balancing of what we need in this given moment, or law of karma. What you give, you receive, and it is not to reward us or punish us. It's just a rebalancing of the universal field, universal energy, and adjusting us where we get away from the baseline. And according to this law, if to break it down in the simple terms, we are where we need to be at any given moment. We are, wherever we are in life right now, this is exactly where the law of karma and the just universal law put us. So it's not a punishment, it's neither a gift, it is not good or bad, it's just where we need to be at this moment. And in a way, it's not the law that put us there, we ourselves put us in that place. So this is where we are, and we can be no other place. Now, going from that further, what we have in terms of money, resources, relations, connections, is exactly what we need to have to do what we need to do in this very moment where we are according to the law. We don't have any less than we need, we don't have any more than we need. So whatever the cards we got dealt in life is exactly what we need to address the challenges that we're facing. And the third one is the challenges. Sometimes we are not happy with this challenge or that challenge. We don't have enough of something. We can't resolve a problem. We would like to be in a different situation. But the challenge we have is exactly the challenge that we need to address in life for our own learning and for adjusting to the universal law of being in that baseline, in the balance. So where we are is where we need to be. What we have is what we need to have, and the challenge we are facing is the challenge that we need to have to grow. Now, coming back to the fairy tale and the gifts that were bestowed on people that they got extremely upset when they stopped receiving, I would like to come to the second point, and that point is understanding that life is not ours. The life by itself is a gift. This is a gift that we have been given, and we are a guest in this life. If we look at the theosophy, how it explains why we're here in this physical world, we're here to grow, to advance, to evolve. So we are guests of life. We came in here and we are facing the challenges, evolving, performing our duties, being of service, creating our karma, again, positive or negative, but not really much in this life that is truly under our control. So life is not ours. Same in the fairy tale, the gifts received by people in the story were not theirs. They were a gift that someone chose to give them. And when we have this life, when we have the health, when we have the well-being of our families, those are gifts. This is not given because we really not in control of that. We're guests in all of this. And gratitude towards what we have is really key. Understanding that all of this is a gift. It is not something that we have an entitlement to. And where the entitlement comes from, and we'll come to this next, is from the desire, from our attachments, how things should be, and our unacceptance of where they are. And that's the first point on the just universal law. The other thing to remember about life is not being ours, and the challenges we may be facing today is this is not the first and not the last life we're living, and we probably have agreed to the challenges we'll face in this life before. So those are the agreements we made, and some of us who are facing more challenges in a way can say, wow, I'm grateful that I have earned these challenges and I can be growing at an advanced level. It is hard to see this perspective, but again, remembering that this is not the first or the last life, and every single situation and challenge that is happening, we agreed before to. We agreed to grow, we agreed to come here and evolve, and that's happening in agreement with our own evolution and the just universal law. And on life is not being ours, it should be treated like not ours. And that's with a deep respect. Because anytime it can be taken away, anytime anything in it can be taken away. So a deep respect for what we have and seeing the abundance and not the lack is a really critical mindset for a theosophist. The third point that we would like to cover is energy systems. So we can have two ways to look at things. We can have an ants view, and the ants view is very attached at one little piece. You can only see what's right in front and follow through that path. Or we can have the eagle's view. If we have ants view, we cannot see the entire system. We can see only a little piece of things. If we ascend to be of the eagle and to have the eagle's view, we will see the entire system. So we'll see the entire energy system that supports us. It is almost like seeing the Nazca lines. That if you are above, you can see Nazca lines. If you are just there in the line, you only see nothing but the ground. So by having the eagle's view, we're able to see energy systems, and we'll talk a little bit more about what energy systems are. And looking at life, it is one and is shared by everything at once. There is no separate me, you, animals, the lower kingdoms. It's really one life. And once we see it as a one life and see our ability to participate in that life and knowing that we actually exist in that one life, this is the true gratitude for being part of all. Also, when we look at the one life and at different kingdoms in this, we do have the great adults. We have the great levels above us and the masters who guide us, and we look up to them. And in the system, we also have equals. We have the students, and we have those who are growing on the path. And we relate to each other as equals, and we learn from each other. And sometimes we have our own blunders, but we are the equals on this plane, and we interact with each other as equals. And there are also lower kingdoms, and the lower kingdoms are looking up to us for evolution and growth. But all of this is a one system. In one system, we exist in gratitude to the higher and to the lower. And sometimes it is the lower kingdom that can give us a lesson. And lower kingdom are the kingdoms of the animals, of plants, of minerals. Sometimes it is the higher kingdoms. Even though we look up to the master and higher levels, we coexist in all, and at times it is the lowers that can give us that sense of gratitude and understanding. Now we'll go also to the energy system of elementals. So we're well familiar with the elementals, and their nature is that we're able to imprint our energy on them. So in a way, it is that that ocean responds to our will, to our thoughts, to our energetic imprint. So when we are not being grateful, the imprint on elemental level is just that. When we are in a state of gratitude for all life and our ability to participate in that all life, we imprint elementals in a positive way. And when we imprint them in a positive way, we are in an expansive state where there are possibilities, when there is expansion. If we are in a state of lack and non-gratitude, then we imprint elementals with the state of lack and dissatisfaction. And when we heard of the concept of the law of attraction, this is basically the explanation to the law of attraction. It's our interaction with the elemental level and our ability to imprint our thoughts and energy and will on the elemental, and elemental level responding to us of what we are basically projecting at it. So if we are to dive deeper in the law of attraction, that's exactly what it is. And also it goes into the karmic relations that yes, whatever we are projecting out, we're receiving back. In a way, we are the creators of our reality and our world. So in a way, when we look at these energy systems, we can say that I am because of you, and you are because of me, because all of us are in the system interconnected. And not one thing can be taken from the system for it to function as planned. And sometimes we will say, well, those things are not useful. The mosquitoes need to be killed, and the snakes are poisonous, and something is out of place, and we're not grateful to those levels of the energy system, to those kingdoms. everything in the universe that exists is benevolent and it serves a purpose. So the snake venom can kill you, and the snake venom can also treat a disease. Everything that is in existence in one life is there for a reason, and it is benevolent to the system as a whole. So state of gratitude is realizing that I am because you are, whoever you is. It can be higher kingdom, it can be lower kingdom, it could be an equal, and you are because of me. And again, it goes as to the microcosm as in a microcosm. So there is many ways to define gratitude, what it actually does mean. And in preparation for this talk, the student reviewed several articles. I would like to make a reference of these articles. One is Right Effort from Theosophical Movement. Another one is The Art of Higher Living. And the third one was The Secret of a Happy Life. And when we speak of gratitude, it is actually a secret to a happy life. It is hard to imagine a happy life that is not happy with what is, that is seeking more and more and more. So the gratitude is, in simple terms, freedom from desire. So if we want to see what actually means to be grateful and to be in gratitude, it is being free from desire. In so many ways, we attach to our desires when we think, if I will just have that, and if I will just need this, and I could resolve my problems if this would happen. When in fact, going to the second, life is not ours, and we should treat it as such and not desire something to be different, because everything that we need is already given. So when we release this desire from our state of mind and just stay in present and in what is, then the happiness literally descends on us. And the other thing that takes us out of the state of gratitude is attachment to the future. And this is why in Buddhism, there is such an emphasis on being in now. Because the moment we are in the future, we're attached to a desire. We're attached to some desired outcome, how things should be and how we would like them to see. So we start living in an imagination and illusion of our desires. The Buddhists also say to each other and to all kingdoms, they say peace to all. And that's sort of one of the most probably common meditations and prayers, when they always conclude by saying peace to all. And the Theosophists probably can replace peace to all with gratitude to all. Gratitude for being one life, for us participating in one life, for being benevolent and co-dependent on each other, not co-dependent, co-creating the life. Also, I'd like to go from Buddhism to one of the notions that is in Christianity, is that hell and heaven is all here, and it's here now. And it's literally in our state of mind. So we can shift from that state of mind in a second. We can look one way at things and it will be hell. We can look with another perspective and it will be heaven. And it is truly a choice that resides within us. There was an article in the Theosophical Movement on the right life. What is right life and how to live a right life? And at the end, it summed up at living a life that is grateful for the life itself. There were three main propositions in the article that were discussed. One proposition of duty, that the right life is life where you are living and performing your duty. And it does seem simple to perform your duty, but this is where the true art comes in understanding where your duty starts and where the duty of the other one starts. So understanding beginning and the end of your duty and beginning and the end of the other duty. And it actually, the article was saying that it is so critical to perform your duty and not duty of the other, because first you're interfering with their karma, and if you're performing their duty, you're clearly not performing your own duty. And reflecting on that, in many times when we feel overwhelmed with life, when we feel so busy, so stressed out, so not having time for anything, exhausted and drained, the question to be asked, whose duty are we performing? Are we still performing our duty, or are we performing the duty of someone else and in a way interfering with their karma, and by that neglecting our own and stretching ourselves and getting in a state of not being grateful? Because if we look at the just universal law, we have everything we need right here, right now, to do what we need to perform our duty. And the moment we feel like we don't have resources, we don't have time, we don't have energy, we are probably not performing our duty. We are somewhere else. We're in a karmic connections of performing other people's duty and denying them possibility of their own growth. The second preposition was renunciation. And renunciation probably the hardest one to understand, to achieve, and to accept. But when you look at it, what it really means, it can be very simple, easy, very, very achievable. So renunciation is not renunciation from life itself. We are in this one life, and we're in a state of gratitude that we can right now participate in it. Renunciation is from the desire to see it this way or the other way, desire to shape it in our own will, in a way applying thy will be done. Like there is a bigger plan, there is a bigger energy system that I'm part of, and my little desire may not be what I actually should be doing. So applying the thy will be done and renouncing the attachment to the outcome of your work. So this is what renunciation is. It's actually renouncing the attachment to what should be as a result of your actions, and being in a state of unknown and state of gratitude for what is. The third one was service, and service is fundamental to the work of all theosophists, and the service can be done from gratitude and from joy of being able to perform it. And when we look back at all the theosophists who came before us and who kept the link unbroken with their work and dedication, we simply do the service of continue that without any attachment to the outcome and what may happen. And sometimes we sit in a meeting when there are just few of us, and there is no attachment that it should be many. We are where we are, and we have everyone in this room who needs to be here. And there is no attachment that we need to have 200 people, because those who are here will keep the link unbroken and will continue the movement and will continue the message. And they are the select that need to be here right now, and nothing needs to be different according to, again, just universal law and the gifts we received in life. And yet another perspective and the gratitude is, it is actually a true alchemy. When we think of alchemy, what can transmute one substance into another, it is the gratitude. We can wake up in the most horrible mood and say we don't have the job we want, we don't have the family we want, the children not doing this and that. And the moment you switch that thinking to everything is where it needs to be, and I am just happy to be alive and to be part of this system that is in existence now, it transmutes completely. It is the alchemy of transmuting our mindset into a whole new state. It is alchemy of going from hell to heaven, and in a way a secret to a happy life. And the last thing I would like to share, yet another fairy tale. It's a very well-known Russian fairy tale that's told to every children when they grow up so they can learn the lesson, and it is the fairy tale of the goldfish. The old man who was living on the shore of the ocean with his wife in an old broken house went to fish so he can have something for dinner. And he caught a golden fish, and the golden fish spoke to him in a human language. And she said, "Just let me go. I will do anything you wish. Just make a wish. Tell me what you want, and it will be done. Just let me go." And the man looked at the fish and said, "You know, I actually don't need anything. You just go swim." And he let the fish go. He came home and he told his wife, I was fishing, I caught this goldfish, and it spoke to me in human language, and it said, tell me what you wish, and I'll make it happen, just let me go. And I didn't need anything, so I let the fish go. And the wife looked at him and said, are you a crazy old man? Have you grown out of your mind? You're not allowed to sleep in the house anymore. You go back and catch that fish again and ask her, I need a new bucket to wash the clothes. And the man got really frustrated and upset, but he said, okay, if I can't sleep in the house, I'll go back and fish. So he went back and then he was fishing and he caught again the goldfish, and goldfish said, oh man, let me go. I'll do anything that you wish. And he said, I want a new bucket for my wife to wash the clothes. And she said, done. So he let the fish go. He came home and the new bucket is standing there, and the wife is washing the clothes. And the man says, oh my, I can finally rest and go to sleep, and my wife is happy. And she said, old man, are you grown out of your mind? You had the goldfish and all what you asked for the stupid bucket. He said, but that's what you wanted. He said, no, I want all the new furniture in the house. You're not allowed to sleep in the house, go fish again. He went back and he went fishing, and miracle, he got the fish again. And the fish again said, man, let me go. Just tell me what you want, and it will be done. He said, my wife wants a new furniture. If you can get that done, I will let you go. He let the fish go, comes home, all new furniture in every room, looks beautiful. And the wife looks at him and she looks angry. He said, now what? All the new furniture everywhere. She says, are you stupid? You had the goldfish. I want a palace. A real palace with the gardens and the ponds and fountains. Like, what furniture? He said, no peace for me. He went back fishing. So he sat, and goldfish was not coming. He said, nah, it's not going to happen this time. My wife's going to be really angry, but this is the end of it. And then by the morning, the fish appeared. And he said, old man, what else do you want? Just let me go. And old man said, my wife wants this palace. Can you do this? She said, of course, just go home and let me go. He came home, palace is there. And the wife even more angry. He says, now what? He says, are you crazy? Palace? What do I do with the palace? I want to be a queen for the whole land. So she's going completely crazy, but I cannot handle this. I have to get the fish and make her peaceful, because this is just draining everyone, and she's yelling at the grandchildren and beating the dog, and everything is just going bad. He went back, and the goldfish was there, and he caught her, and he literally said, this is the last fish. She wants to be the queen. Can you do that? And the goldfish looked and said, let me go and go home. And he let her go, and he comes home, and what he sees, here sits his wife in a broken heart next to the broken bucket and cries. And she says, where is my palace? Where is my furniture? Where is my new bucket? We lost it all. Our desires have no end. Once we get caught up in them, the unhappiness will be internal. And one day when the gifts are gone, we don't even realize what we had. So this is the state of gratitude, of knowing that what we have is what we need to have, and we are in the perfect place right now, right here, and there is no other place we would rather be. Now, stop here. Thank you.
What can we say?
Let's be grateful.
Yeah, yeah. That's we're where we need to be. We will get what we need to get, and all we need to do is be thankful for what we got, and for the opportunity to serve.
Yes, yes. Or be a part of the system where we all are part of each other, and you are because I am, and I am because you are. From every single kingdom.
Yeah. And now we have the internet. So people don't have to be physically here. They can be part of the group and be all over the world.
Yes.
There's a comment from Lenning, and he says it's a very enlightening story. So, which is very true.
It is so true. It is so hard to. embed in our lives. It really comes down to desires, and that's why every single text we read talks about how we need to conquer the desires. This is
It's all in the fish story.
it's the fish story. It's perpetual. There is no end to desires. Once they get a hold of us, we are in the vortex. And all of us been there. It's not like we've not been there. It's just understanding that this is an illusion and we got caught, and how to get ourselves uncaught. And often because of this desires, we also get overstretched and we don't have time and we don't see what is here now, and our life turns into chaos.
Yeah.
Trying to catch the goldfish of whatever type it is. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be anything else.
It takes a lot of effort to get to here. It says it clearly it's more worth it, but we've got to do a lot of unlearning first to really get to the point where we have the right mental attitude to be able to do that. Like you just said, the three simple examples. So how do we do that?
I think by a daily exercise of going from ants view to eagle's view, of realizing that we need to take a different perspective. So something that we can do is do our day review, of life's review, of where we are, of trying to detach from that sort of ants view and try to see the bigger picture.
So we also have to remember the big picture, the little picture as we move through the big picture.
And just simple things like if the oxygen wouldn't be there supporting us and all the plants wouldn't be here supporting us, we wouldn't even be able to worry about our desires. So it's really gratitude for the most basic things, for the life system being here and us being able to participate in it.
Starting with the air we breathe.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
operate it all.
Yeah, we take all of this for granted, but there is one strike of an asteroid and it's not here. And often we get so upset at somebody we don't even know who. Why don't I have this? But it's just like with this old man who was giving gifts and nobody even realized that's a gift. This is not an entitlement.
They're going to give you think you're entitled more.
Yeah. And also very interesting, sometimes you will tell somebody your problem and the person says, if I would only have your problems. We all have just the right problem because it's difficult for us.
We're always thinking about what somebody else has, all that stuff. The position they're in rather than what we're at to be able to get to the position we're going to be.
Yeah.
You talk about that too. Where we are, we got to realize where we are, where we need to go and plan for that. And realize that we have unlimited potential.
Yeah. So a question for discussion. Why do you think the code of desire is so strong on us? If anybody wants to share.
Because
people always want to one-up each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
One-man upmanship.
Also, while we're trying to one up the other, we comfortable where we're at because we don't know any better. But we think we also need to be somewhere else, but we don't want to hang. We want to hang on to what we got too.
But somewhere behind this, why we want to up each other is a struggle for survival, the feeling that we may not survive, so we have to have more than the other. So it's some kind of an almost limbic response that what is here is not enough and it will not support us. When actually everything here is enough and it is supporting us in what we need to have. But it's this constant feeling that the universe is not supporting us. Life is not supporting us. But it's in a way oxymoron, because it cannot be that life is not supporting us if we are alive. If we're alive, we're evidently supported. Otherwise, we wouldn't be alive.
When we're not invited we still are alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's
Very true.
maybe we are really alive. We're really asleep now because God, all this stuff is going on around us, and we're developing ourselves and without even knowing it, because with every action we take, whether we want to take that or not, we're learning something from it. Whether it's successful or not is not really revealing what you're learning from that.
And maybe it's also the hardest renunciation is renunciation from the attachment and desire of life, knowing that we are always are, that once existent, we will never be non-existent. We always are. Through the universes and the manvantaras and the pralayas, we always are and always will be. So there is no need to attach to just one form of this.
So, little grandchildren said, we don't want you to die. We're not going to die. Our body will drop,
Yeah. And because we are part of this energy system, and the energy system is not only one life that is expressing now, it's expressing now for us, but it's always expressing. So we'll always be part of that one life.
And when we come back, we'll have the experience of this life and many lives before, and continue to work.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we have so many writings about detachment from personality, because it's personality that keeps us attached to this life, not one life, but this life.
And what is your personality? It's your accumulation of past lives, isn't it? So that's why I used to think about it is personality you want to get rid of, but you want to grow that, transform it. Because the masters, their personality is the parameters. They have that personality. That's what we want to do. So we can do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it came clear to the understanding that we are not separate from masters. That actually we're part of one energy system, from masters to elementals. And we're just all looking for each other to guidance.
Yeah. Well, that's really what I was raised as a Baptist, and I was taught many of these ideas that you presented today, and what we learned in theosophy. But where it really makes a difference is when we think that there's only one God. There is only one God, but everyone has a chance to be weakened. If you think about it as one personality, God is God, one God, and no one else can be like it, that's when it falls apart. And it's not true. You can become. I think it's technically one step removed from the highest we can come, if you want to be technical about it.
Yeah.
But when you become perfected, at that point, you're perfected.
Yeah, the other thought on gratitude, like often we confuse it from being thankful, basically thanking those who gave us and being thankful to what we have. But gratitude really is much beyond just being thankful for something. It is being at total peace with where you are.
Yes, that is easier to say than do.
Yeah, it's the detachment from desires, from tomorrow, from what should, what would, really being peaceful and happy with what is. So in a way, it's also a very Buddhist concept of being in now and being happy with now.
So you mentioned Buddhism a good bit. And sometimes people think that this is just a bunch of Buddhists, but we are closer to Buddhism, I think, than many of the other religions. But we are closer to many of the religions too, just about all of them. The point is that I separated that Christianity because typically the person thinks that there's a guy in the sky and he doesn't see me, and I don't see him. Well, I don't see him yet, but I will one of these days if I keep working at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a way, we sort of like, if we take that Christianity or any religion, you're sort of praying to that God and wishing that God would give you something or save you in a way. We replace that concept here with the just universal law.
Yeah.
But we know that it's pointless to pray to just universal law because it's a just universal law. It's not going to forgive you just because it's not punishing you. It's just adjusting the balance. So it's not able to basically address our wishes that are outside where we are self-balancing in the universal system. So it's basically the universal law is rebalancing the energy system. And if we are pulling on the energy system opposite direction, it needs to rebalance us. It can't just forgive us and grant our wish. It just needs to rebalance the system.
Well, we have to adjust our wishes too.
Yeah.
That's important too,
Yeah.
to adjust your wishes to helping nature rather than what you personally want at this time. Maybe you want a new car, the best of the new cars, but maybe if you got that, you just want something else. That could be maybe not the best for you, or maybe what if it is, you get it.
Or this is the mindset I think that we are applying a lot now to climate change. That we basically first we destroy things, and then we say, how can we improve what we're destroying? How we can fix what we're destroying? But we're not looking back at how do we not destroy things. We're still attached to our mode of living. Nobody says we're gonna change our life and not use all of the energy sources we're using. We still say we're going to continue, but we'll fix a little bit what we do.
Well, we're in the middle of elections right now. And which candidate, major candidate, has as the highest priority fixing the environment? Not a single one. Everyone is concerned about the economy and all kinds of other stuff. But not a single one has that as a priority. And if we don't fix the economy, fix the environment, it's gonna destroy us.
Yeah.
Nature will get rid of us.
Yeah. And it's not like we need to fix environment, we need to fix ourselves, how we live.
Well, fix ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even talk about that.
I just mentioned that this is an example.
Yeah.
You know, we need to put our priorities in, align our priorities properly.
Yeah, we completely not even thinking of detaching from our way of living that is where we're pulling on the energy system and is not within the universal law. So whatever we tweak on the side, it's still not gonna rebalance the system, unfortunately. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone or comments or reflections? Sort of talking here in the room.
Oh my God, it made me think a lot.
Tell us what you think.
Because in individualistic societies, everything revolves around the endless pursuit to achieve more than you already have. And even like the world is not gonna become more humble unless one cut ties with everyone that thinks that way. Is very hard to be outside the scope of that kind of mindset. And I'll make this comment. That sounds, that sounds silly. I over the past week, I went camping outside stadiums in order to be the first one to enter the venue and be at the first to the barrier, front of the barrier. I was doing this with friends 1 week ago, last Sunday in Canada, and I began doing it at midnight. And when it became 5:30 a.m., the temperature dropped below zero, -5. And I had there was a risk of getting ill. I went to get heat in a car, in the car of a friend. And I fall asleep and I get knocked on the door by people who arrived after I did, that were angry that I was in the car doing that, saying that they wanted to demote me from position number 1, that they were angry because they all wanted to be number 1, and that they felt that I was less devoted to this attempt to be the first at the barrier of the event, of the concert. And in the day I showed them medical documents that I have some injuries, a traumatic brain injury I had in an accident when hit by a car in March. And people were behind my back. They were saying that it would have been better for their fan club if I would have died, because that way that I raised the standard too high of having to get up too early. That they were making fun. They were saying, "Oh, the accident left him retarded." They were making like really all because of arriving. Who gets to be number 1 in the hand when arriving to a concert? And the same thing repeated itself 3-4 days later in another concert. To which I was number 1, and I was being told by people telling me, "Are you aware of how many people hate you here?" And it was like, and people that when they see me, they greet me with a hand. "Oh, how are you? Are you fine?" And all of this over something so little. And I'll tell you more. Whomever, I dare to say, the first 30 people that arrive have good spots. But just because of being number 1 gets me all that over something so little. So imagine what happens in jobs, let's say in academia, where it's who has more publishing, who has more papers, who has more books, who has the fanciest cars. I've been told that among people who buy islands, that they make fun of whomever has the smallest island. That even in that, in any about I know a woman in an Ivy League university that was happily married. She had a husband that was very accomplished, had multi-million-dollar grants, numerous publications. The one thing this guy did not have was a Nobel Prize. And the woman requested the divorce and fully got divorced to marry a guy that did have this tiny little thing extra, the Nobel Prize. Just because of that, a whole divorce. I hear stories like this all the time. I know. I'm gonna flip this one in the opposite direction. I know of a man that had a wife. The man had a kidney problem, and he needed a new kidney. And the wife of many years, she loved him so much, she donated her kidney, which was compatible to her husband. After she did that, some months later, the guy meets a woman that was younger, more attractive, more physically beautiful, more voluptuous, and he divorces the woman to marry this other one that is more attractive after she gave him a kidney. So which is what I just said, is like the most extreme, ungrateful thing I think a husband could possibly do. But I mentioned all this because I hear these stories all the time, and I'm like, damn, it never ends.
So the story of the goldfish is valid today as it was 300 years.
Yeah.
Well, shall we move on to
Yes.
next?
We'll take a break.
10
10 minute break. We'll resume with
We'll continue with our study on images.